Hi dear friends, today I am coming with the new topic under chemotherapy, malaria. Learning outcome. After watching this video, the learner will able to explain malaria, identify mode of transmission, symptoms, different diagnostic test for the malaria detection, describe life cycle of malarial parasite, summarize the different mode of prevention of malaria. Now, malaria is an infectious disease caused by protozoa of the genus Plasmodium, which is transmitted from man to man by the bite of female Anopheles mosquito. So, this female Anopheles mosquito is a vector. There are four kinds of malarial parasites that are infect the humans: Plasmodium vivax, Plasmodium ovale, Plasmodium malariae, and Plasmodium falciparum. So, out of these four varieties, Plasmodium falciparum that causes a more severe form of disease, and if the patient is suffering from this infection by Plasmodium falciparum, that patient is having the high risk of death. Malaria is a life-threatening disease typically found in tropical and subtropical climates where the parasites can live. Mode of transmission. Now, malaria is caused by the parasite, Plasmodium parasite, and this parasite are spread through the bite of the infected female Anopheles mosquito, which is called as malaria vector. Only the female Anopheles mosquito, and again that to be infected by Plasmodium. So, infected female Anopheles mosquito causes or that will spread the malarial parasite from one man to another man. The other mosquitoes, the female Anopheles mosquito which is not infected, that cannot spread the malaria disease. Again, other than this, the infected mother, if the mother is suffering from malaria, then it can pass to her baby after birth. That is called as congenital malaria. Again, the malaria is transmitted by blood, so it can also be transmitted through during the organ transplant, in case of transfusion, in case of use of shared needles or syringe. Life cycle of malaria. Now, this life cycle, if you see, the half life cycle will be in mosquito and half life cycle will be in men. The life cycle of malarial parasite which is present in human or in men, they are asexual cycle, and in case of the mosquito, the sexual cycle of the malarial parasite will be seen in mosquito. Now, you can see that if a female Anopheles mosquito which is infected with the malarial parasite, if she bite to human and have a bloody meal, during that biting, that will transfer these merozytes in the blood circulation of that human. Then that will go to the hepatocyte, and there it will get developed, divide, redivide, form zygote, and that will broke up that hepatocyte and release the merozytes. So this is the infection of liver cell. Now this, after that, the merozytes which is released by the liver cell, that will come into blood circulation, that will infect the erythrocyte. Now here the infection of red blood cell occur, that will form the tropozoites. Now after this formation of tropozoite, two things happens, that will divide and redivide, divide and redivide to form cyazones, and that will break open to release more and more merozoites, so that this will affect another blood cell. The second is, these tropozoites will form the gametocyte, and this gametocyte will convert into microgametocyte, that is male gametocyte, and macrogametocyte, which is a female gametocyte. Now these gametocytes are freely flowing in our blood. Now if a female Anopheles mosquito bite that patient who is having this free flow of gametocyte in blood, during biting, that will suck these gametocyte and go into the mosquito. Now this mosquito, in the mosquito, what will happen, these two gametocyte form the zygote, that will form the ookinetic, and that ookinetic will stored in the midgut wall, and from that the transformation and sporogenesis occurs, and that will convert into oocyst, and during this phase the sporozoites are prepared. Now these oocysts will break open to release these sporozoites. That sporozoite will again come in the salivary gland of the female Anopheles mosquito, and if that mosquito bite another healthy man, again that will transfer the bacterial parasitic sporozoite to that healthy individual, and that may lead to malaria. So this is the life cycle of malaria. Next, symptoms. Symptoms of malaria typically divide within 10 days to 4 weeks following the infection. Common symptoms include the shaking chill that can range from moderate to severe. The severe chill may occur. There is a high fever of, again this fever will come in attack. Profuse sweating, headache, nausea, vomiting, abdominal pain, diarrhea, anemia, muscle pain. The patient may cause convulsion that may lead to coma, and some patient will show bloody stools. So these are the overall symptoms of malaria, and the symptoms will be becoming worse and worse if it is not treated, and that may lead to death of that patient. Diagnosis. So there are many methods to diagnose that the malaria is present or not. In that first, thick and thin blood smear. Diagnosis of malaria involves the performing the blood smear. Now this blood drop is taken on the slide, and that will spread over the slide, and that slide will be observed under the microscope, and that will see whether the malarial parasites are present or not. So this test is currently the gold standard for malaria detection and identification. But the problem is that for the examination of that slide, it requires the trained and experienced laboratorian. So that's why this is the major drawback. But this is a gold standard. This is the highly accurate detection method to detect the malaria is present or not. Next is rapid diagnostic test. This is antigen testing. This test detect the malarial antigen in the sample of person's blood and indicate a positive result by a color change on the testing strip. They can be sometimes called as dipstick test. Dipstick test. Next test is molecular test, that is polymerase chain reaction, PCR. This is a laboratory method that amplifies the parasite DNA and allow the detection and identification of Plasmodium species. Next test is antibody test. This is serological test. Serological test detect the antibody in the blood that are produced by the body in response to the malarial infection. They cannot diagnose an acute infection but help determine if the person was previously exposed. So this is not an accurate test. Next, drug resistance test. Some malarial parasites are resistant to some of the malarial drug. So this test also to be performed, whether to check the sensitivity of that parasite towards the drugs which are available for the action. And the last one is blood test. Along with the above test, the doctor may give you the other tests like CBC, complete blood profile, liver function test and kidney function test that will be done, so that this can tell you, your doctor, how serious your infection is and if it's causing other problem like anemia or kidney failure. So depending upon the observation of these tests, the doctor will decide your treatment regimen. Prevention. Now this malaria is prevented by preventing the vector. That is, vector control is the main way to prevent and reduces the malarial transmission. Who recommends the protection for all people at risk of malaria with effective malaria vector control. There are two forms of vector control. First is insecticide treated mosquito nets can be used. These mosquito nets can be used for the prevention of mosquito. Then indoor residual spraying. This is an effective and wide range of effective in wide range of circumstances. That is, whatever we are using in the good night coil and the all out machine that we are using in the routinely in our house, that comes under this indoor residual spraying. So these are the prevention methods. If we prevent the vector, means if we prevent the mosquito, we can prevent the malaria. So this is about the malaria. If you here I will conclude my malaria discussion. If you have any query, please feel free to ask me. Thank you very much.